Hello people, and welcome back to part 28 of the City Skylines build guide. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. Last episode we worked on our financial kind of world trade centre kind of theme that has started to develop along this side of the city right now, and I think it's a nice start. There's certainly room for this to expand out and have a little more room for detailing, which will be happening pretty soon. And we also added in a liberal arts college campus last episode, which has since disappeared, and there is a reason for that. There's also a ton of rocks over here as well. Let me see if I can delete these while I talk to you. So just kind of thinking in my head about how I want this place to look, this kind of big space that we have here. We are planning to have the university campus along here eventually when we unlock the tiles in a couple milestones time, and I don't want to have another university campus so close to this one. We'll probably say the liberal arts college, maybe for somewhere over here when we eventually get to building over there, but for right now it is not going to sit here. What is going to sit here is going to be our central park. So let's kind of have a little discussion about how this is going to work. So just off camera, I've had a kind of a play with the gap here, and this is a really wide gap to fill with Central Park stuff. Especially if you're just using the parks and plazas, and then you have kind of the city park. You know, I think if you place the main gate here, automatically you have a hell of a lot of space either side to actually go ahead and do that. So let's just delete that park area really quickly. So I'm going to incorporate the vanilla Central Park asset that comes with the game. So in your unique buildings, under level 6 unique buildings, we have something called the Central Park. This thing is a fair size, and it also has a road running through it as well. So let's go ahead and kind of plan out a road network for this. So this road that's running through the middle here, this road that comes down pretty much marks the halfway point. It's a little bit biased towards this side, but with the room, with the space that we have to work with, that is how it's going to have to do, I'm afraid. So I think over here, is I'm going to have this come to there, and then this is going to be our kind of main road up to it. So let's go ahead and delete this, and then this as well. And then we'll probably have this road connect up there as well. Alright, so let's go ahead and place in the Central Park. Here we go. So this thing, just one of the assets. I can't tell you if this comes with any DLC. I think it's just with the vanilla game. But it has like a little amphitheatre in here. It's got like a little sunken plaza, which looks really cool. I wish this plaza was in the game itself, but unfortunately it isn't. It's got like a nice little underway there, and then it kind of comes out this side as well. And there's lots of different trees and paths running through it, and then there's also a road coming through it as well, which I think looks really sweet. So let's first of all have a look at kind of the side roads here and how these guys are going to look. So I think we're going to stick with the grass median road through the middle. Is how we're going to actually start this out. So let's kind of have a little look at where this is going to flow to. So again, when we're planning out something this big, it's always good to kind of do it from the bird's eye view, so to speak. So I think that would be... Or do we want to go a little bit further out than that, leave ourselves a little bit more room? Yeah, I'm just going to try and stay parallel with the highway. Let's bring this guy out a little further so we have something to snap onto. There we go. Okay. So already that is like an absolutely enormous area to play with, but don't worry, this isn't going to be like any other kind of park, you know. This is going to be a grand central park. We want lots of kind of open fields and nice winding paths to flow through here. We're probably going to incorporate a little bit of business and commercial zoning into this area as well, which should be pretty cool. Okay, so I think that's cool. Let's bring these guys out a little bit, and then we'll bring that road along the back of the vanilla asset itself, so it kind of boxes it in nicely. I think I also want a lake in here as well, so let's plan for that before we do any other kind of zoning. So I'm going to come ahead to my terrain now. I'm going to make a little bit of a ditch. So let's bring our brush size and strength down a little bit. That's probably too big a brush size. So in terms of the lake, I probably feel this would be a nice place for it. Let's just kind of make a little bit of a dent. I want to try and get something of a shape in here, kind of like a crescent shape. I guess would be a nice little start for it. It's kind of chisel away some of these cliffs. Probably is actually a little bit. So you don't really like. It looks really rough now, but we'll be smoothing this out. Okay, maybe have a little bit of a bulge in here. Let's knock some of this back. How doing it like that? Okay. So let's just start smoothing in using our smooth tool just to kind of bring this in a little bit. Let's go ahead and slope this down. Just kind of bring it all across on the same level. And then again with the sides that we're looking at. Okay, let's push it back a little bit further towards the road. Okay. Just kind of play with your terrain tools until you find a shape that you're happy with. So I think that's a fairly nice shape. Maybe we can bring it into here as well. I want to make sure that we leave enough room for paths to be circling around this thing. Oh, look at this. There's a little... Is that a lion? Look at him go. He just walked down a vertical cliff. Is that a lion? It's a cougar. There's a cougar in the national park. That is not safe at all. Okay, let's go ahead and flood the city because I am terrible at placing these water assets. Let's place him in there and then drag him down just to the front there. That should. Let's fast forward time. Okay, so he's not quite up to the lip. Let's bring him up a little bit further to there. Don't worry, now when you're playing with these water assets, you will eventually get that. I actually don't know. Maybe you console players can tell me. I probably should have researched this before doing this episode. There was an abandoned building over here. Don't know why you guys are abandoning themselves. I don't know whether or not you can get water assets on the console version. If you cannot, then the next best thing I would suggest is to use the eco water outlet and fill up an area. It will look a little bit rank. Otherwise, you can make a natural channel with your terraforming tools through to a hole that you've dug and let the river flood that area. But otherwise, if you can't get access to the water tools, then I'm afraid... Okay. Let's leave it up to there. Is that going to flood over? It looks as though it should be okay. He says as it begins to flood over. Okay, let's wait for this little bit to disperse. And then we should have an idea of how it's going to look. Yeah, okay, that seems to be fairly steady for right now. Okay. Let's draw in that little business park that I wanted to do. So, I think probably along here would be a good shout. Maybe we can make this little... so where does that tram line come out? It leaves here, doesn't it? Okay, I wonder if we can maybe incorporate some tram lines into the Central Park. Let's go ahead and upgrade this. Cannot be built on water. Of course there isn't. There is still water here. Let's wait for it to go away. Okay, let's bring these guys in here. Then let's switch down to our regular tram road. just a small one way, and then all the way through here. And then let's grab tram through there. And then this gives us a little bit of zoning to put in some business along here. I think we'll probably do renewable green, or maybe even entertainment and leisure. I'm not sure. We'll have a play with a few different things and see how it works. Okay, let's see if it'll let me upgrade this road now. Yes, we can. There we go. Okay, so that's going to connect up through there, and these guys will have access back onto the transport hub, which I think will be a really key area for actually getting people to and from the central park. Okay, this guy here doesn't need to be within the tram network. Let's bring the road up to here and then just connect up to that side as well. And we'll probably have a connection up through there as well. And that's all really the road network that I want through the park. I don't really want any more than that. Okay, so let's go ahead and actually paint in the park district, because I do want this to actually, I do want the game to recognise this as a park. So let's follow the road up. Again, just kind of follow it as close as you can. It does tend to snap really well to the actual road itself, but it'll just help you get a nice defined curve. Also as well, thank you for all the comments recently. You guys have been really enjoying this series. I feel like I'm saying this every episode at the moment, but you know, you guys are absolutely smashing it all. So I'm guessing, you know, that means you are enjoying it. So do keep it coming and let me know what you want to see in the city. Okay, Spruce Park is not the one. We will go for Begusia Central Park. Alright. So as a kind of out view now, we've got some nice themes developing. Now I want to plan out a little bit of a path network using freeform tool, and all snapping is going to be off for this guy. So for a park to level up, visitors need to pass through any one of the 3 gates. Now I'm not really bothered about this leveling up as an area as Begusia Central Park, because you know, it's just a large park and there's going to be a lot of people coming through. But we are going to place in a couple of different gates anyway. So we're going to place in a small gate here. That's how what we are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 blocks away. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So I think this one here is going to be a fairly rigid path with a couple of attractions in it. So let's kind of map this out, and then he's going to come up to here as well. Up through there. And then the path on this side is going to be kind of a dirt path. That is going to flow around the lake and into a couple of different areas as well. So again, I'm just going to keep a nice bird's eye view here and try and map out a nice dirt path that flows around the lake. So can we get him in there? Just about. Okay, so we can link up there. Then the path can come out from this side again, through here, and then connect up like that. Okay. And then I imagine we'll have another entrance coming through here as well. Okay, let's join our park fence around this place as well, because I do want to have this fenced off to some degree. So we're going to come out to this corner and then all the way down to this point. Boom. Into there. Yeah, let's keep drawing these in. It's a lot easier to do it with your snapping turned off, but you can actually snap to some node points if you wish to. All depends how you like to play the game. So while we're kind of just focusing up here, let me know what has been your guys' favourite build of Buguzia so far. What have you enjoyed the most, or maybe found the most useful? I'd be very keen to know. Let's draw that there as well, and then we can delete this one. Let me know what you guys have enjoyed in Buguzia. Maybe it's this episode, who knows? Okay, so let's have a little look-see. Kind of thinking of what I want along the edge here. I think I'm actually going to go ahead and continue a little bit of the business park, just to have this guy come out down this road, and then alongside up to the highways, and just kind of paint that area out, and then have a little bit of kind of thing I'm going to place in a plaza. So let's go ahead and grab something like that, maybe up to here, and then let's grab some nice large office zoning in. Right up along here. I need to decide what's going to happen with this bridge. We should probably plan in for that before we do anything else, actually. See, it's connecting up to this road here, which links back into the public transport hub. So maybe... Or maybe we should have it as a tunnel. It was a tunnel originally, but I did change it. I'm not sure. Let's leave it for right now. I'm just kind of messing about. Okay, let's have a little look. See, let's get some business in here. Let's actually apply a little specialisation to this area. Okay. And let's have a look at some commercial. So leisure would certainly be more appropriate, I think. Although green would look quite nice. But I think I want to save a green part for a smaller residential area somewhere else in the city. Kind of similar to how we did in Fremwood for those long-term viewers. Leisure specialisation. I think we'll try leisure for right now, and then let's go in for some commercial up and along here. Let's go ahead and actually remove just a little bit of zoning through there like that. So let's paint that in and then take that one away, and then I'm just going to draw in a little path. To snake through the middle like that. Okay, so these guys should be leisure, and of course they will actually need power, so let me hook these guys up to the mainframe for right now. Again, it's just a temporary line until we find something a little easier to hook them into. Okay. So, you know, would you find see he isn't in the zoning, is he? These guys need to be pushed back a little bit just to encompass these zones here. Make sure you are capturing the zone. You can tell because these guys don't have the leisure symbol here. If you click on one that does, it has a little leisure specialisation, so you know whether or not they're included in the zone. They should knock down eventually, but we'll just get rid of them for right now. Play all you want arcade has spawned in. I really don't know. I am quite undecided as to what I want there. These guys will need some power as well. Let's just hook them up temporarily. So we're going to have some nice zoning up alongside the residential part. You can imagine as this grows it will look rather nice against the backdrop of the highway, and kind of from the park as well, to have it surrounded by big cityscape skyscraper buildings. That'll look pretty cool. Alright, let's continue the theme. Let's kind of build in a little bit of a centre over here. Let's go for a park plaza at the head of the paths. And then I'm going to go ahead and turn on some snapping. So again, I'm just going to kind of focus on little detailed builds here and there. Maybe a park info booth to hang about actually near the central park itself. And then some park restrooms right here. Oh, we do also have the park pier as well. What else do we have? Park pier number 2. Okay, let's go for park pier number 2. Kind of place that in there. Okay, yeah, that's looking pretty sweet. And let's have a little look around here as well. Let's go for... Let's kind of decide what tree we want. I think I'll go for a couple of palms on this side. And definitely around the lake as well, although we'll do that in a time lapse. And then there's this kind of tree, which I'm pretty sure is this one. Yeah, it is. Okay. So we'll use these on this side. Let's get a little bit of brush size up and kind of pack in some areas here. Move up and around this area. Just a tiny bit of woodland to kind of accompany this park on the side. And then probably in this little field here as well. Okay, so it's just kind of almost expanding this original asset using the same trees that come with it. Let's jump back into our park stuff. And let's have a climbing frame in here as well. Kind of focused around the gazebo and a trampoline park as well. And maybe just a little gazebo to sit on its own little path here. Maybe we can have a couple of them. Just like that. Okay. I think we'll continue surrounding the gazebos with these trees right here. This power line is super annoying. Let's see if we can hook up from anywhere else here. Let's see, let's bring him over. And connect him up there. Okay, and then we can delete him. Just whilst we're detailing the side of the park right now, it'd be good to have all the space. Let's go for there. Splash in a couple of core trees. Let's push the strength up a little bit. Again, and then just come back to the main one. And just kind of plop these in as we need them. So there's a nice little kind of treed field here. It's not the best detail I've ever seen, but it kind of expands this asset, which is kind of the point I'm trying to go for here. And so we're already getting some people come to the park. There they go, exploring. Welcome. Oh, of course, these guys need to have power as well. There we go, my mistake. Okay. Lots of people milling around. Let's go ahead and have a look what we want over here. I think I'll have this as kind of like a wild side of the park with lots of big trees and rocks and maybe like a botanical gardens in there as well. It might be a good idea. I'll tell you what I do want in here actually. This would be a good asset to place in. To kind of go with that theme. Somewhere in our unique buildings we have something called the lungs of the city. Here we go. So the lungs of the city is a vast filled area with trees providing the city with fresh lovely air. Citizens visiting the park to relax and see the magnificent trees. So it's an asset of fair size and it comes with its own redwood trees and it's kind of this little, you know, like, well, it's the lungs of the city, isn't it? It's meant to be all fresh and natural. But it's a really nice asset to incorporate into your central park, which is what I feel it will be fairly relevant here. Okay, let's draw on some more pathways. Again, let's get that nice bird's eye view. So I'll kind of make like a little walking trail here. Something like that. And then maybe a cut through the middle. And then one through there. And maybe let's bring one in here as well. Okay, so let's place in some larger rock assets that we're going to be playing with. Let's go for some of the bigger ones. Through there like that. Let's maybe make a little bit of a front focus in here. I do have some castle war ruins actually. Oh, they are really cool. Not going to try use too many of them because they come with the more beautification mod, and our console friends won't have access to them easily. Let's go ahead and make a little bit of a rock feature on the front here. Got some higher vegetation that we can place around here. And so I want to kind of get in these details. Let's kind of have all this overgrown to the front. It's a little bit too close to the path. So getting the finer details with the rocks before I go ahead and actually zone up with the redwoods. I think they also want a park info booth in here as well. Just the one building by itself to kind of serve as an info point. You know, maybe if you're interested in finding out about the redwoods, this is where you can come to find out. So what other park assets we've got? So some of these boys are really big. Yeah, I think these cliffs and kind of plateau assets are a little too extreme for a central park. Let's go back towards the smaller end of the scale. Probably get these guys in. The hitbox on these is actually really annoying. You know, they have these big square boxes around them, and you know they don't take up nearly as much room as their hitbox would suggest. But we live and learn. Oh, it's so small. Okay, let's try something else maybe. Let's go for one of these little kind of embedded rocks in the ground around this one. And again, we'll swing back for some of that high vegetation game. Okay, there. So we've got kind of these main points around here now. Again, we'll get some vegetation in here. So we've got some nice little circling paths. So let's place in the main tree, which we've got giant redwood 2 and then giant redwood 1. So they're pretty much the same. They just kind of vary in size and shape as you place them. So I want to come ahead and grab some brush size now and just kind of spam a couple of these along the front. Just in these open spaces to get some in. And make sure we get in quite a few around the park asset itself. Get some over here as well. Okay. And then we'll come back to single tree size. I think I'll should delete some of these. They're a little bit too close together. And then just kind of give them a little break in pattern so they're not constantly clustered in a straight line. And I like that. Okay. And then we get some around here as well. And then we'll definitely have some smaller trees in here. Just kind of in and amongst the areas where the redwoods haven't dominated the light is kind of the idea that I'm going for here. Maybe some in the corners. So a real nice dense wooded area. Almost like a mini nature reserve. part of the central park. And then let's have a little bit of colour as well, just splashed ever so delicately. I should be an interior designer really, but here we are playing Cities Skylines. I suppose a city planner would be the nearest alternative. Shout out to Sam Burr for any Sam Burr subscribers. Okay. So that's not too bad. I'm happy with that. This guy will need power annoyingly. Maybe we can move him to a more appropriate destination. Maybe just on the outskirts actually. And then he can kind of have his own power supply via there. We will need some lights around here for night time, so let's go ahead and place in a couple of little assets that are going to hang around the paths. Let's kind of follow the path with these, and then we will get a couple of nighttime shots of the city as well with the new parking, so we can kind of see how this place looks at night. Let's draw in the tram line and kind of see what we look like with some trams flowing through this area. So we'll make a line here, and then here, and then he can come up to this point, and then here, and then he can come in to the tram interchange, and then mirror his stops all the way back. Now to here. Okay. So let's have a look at how these buildings turned out. I don't know, let me guys know what you think. Do you think we should have leisure here? I think I'm leaning more towards the green renewable stuff. But let me know what you think. Let's try it. So you guys have seen it like this with the leisure. Let's try the renewable and see how that looks, and let me know which one you guys prefer out of the two, and we can see that develop. Okay, let's delete him. Okay, so I think I'm going to jump into a time-lapse, guys, and detail this side of the park up alongside the river here, alongside the lake, and then you guys can join me again for the outro tag, and we'll take a look at how it all turned out. So I'll speak to you in a moment. Okay guys, that is going to do it for today. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, a like below is very much appreciated. Equally as much if you didn't enjoy it, please feel free to leave a dislike as well. It's been a nice little start to this park. There's still a lot more to do, and you'll see from this outro tag there is still a few empty spaces we need to fill in, Let me know what you guys think should occupy those spaces. I'll be keen to have your guys' ideas in here as well. The path around the lake turned out really nicely. Again, still a touch more work, but it is on its way. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the outro, Taj. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.